Okay, here I am, part 2, transforming migraines, the exercises. So, I'm not like a certified instructor or anything. In fact, what I would encourage you to do is I'm just trying to give you an idea. I'm not leading you through anything. I'm just giving you how to do the exercises, and then if you want to do it guided, go on YouTube and find people that are leading these exercises. That was how I learned, right? So when I wanted to learn the Wim Hof method, I would go and just search and find videos of Wim Hof leading it, and you can do it with his voice, and it's very powerful. All right, so the Wim Hof method is awesome, and there's a lot of variations of it, I think, but I just know this basic one. And so the idea is you're bringing in as much oxygen into your system as possible. You're charging your system, right? So, and he says it doesn't matter if it goes in the nose, in the mouth, it doesn't matter at all. And I've found this to be true. This has definitely worked for me. And so the way you start is you're just going to breathe in as deep as possible, just filling the air into your body. And the first thing that's going to expand is your belly, then your chest, and then your head, right? So it's like a 1, 2, 3, just filling air. And then when you exhale, you're only letting part of it out. So the first breath would be like this. And I'm going to do that about 30 times. The exact number doesn't matter. Sometimes I go more, sometimes I go less, depending. You want to be able to listen to your body. With all these techniques, it's so important to listen to your body. Your body is talking to you. And sometimes you're like, you can tell that's enough or that's not enough. So sometimes I would only do like 15 breaths. Sometimes I do 40 or 50 or 60 breaths, right, in a row. That huge breath, really filling up as much as I can. And every time I do it, I try to go deeper. I try to really fill every cell with oxygen. I just imagine myself filling with light. And then when I exhale, I only exhale part way. I'm not letting all of the oxygen out. So I'm charging my system. I'm flooding my cells with oxygen. And I talked to a nurse who works in ER, and she said when people come in with severe migraines, they actually put them on oxygen. So, just going to adjust my body here. So, oxygen is serious. It really is medicine, and it works. All right, so now you're going to do that, let's say, 30 times. On the last breath, I always do it with my eyes closed, by the way. But you're going to last breath, you're going to let it all the way out. I mean 100% all the way out. Get every little bit of air out of there. And then just sit in silence, no air in the lungs, totally quiet, meditate, just be. Whatever you feel is okay. It's just oxygen. It's just air. So you might feel super tingly, you might feel totally lightheaded, you might get all buzzing, you might hear weird sounds. I've heard very strange sounds when I've done this. Inner sounds, but also it almost sounds like they're coming from around me. It can be extremely powerful. And you're going to do that for as long as you can. So you're going to do the 30 breaths, let it all the way out, and just sit there still or laying down, it doesn't matter, for as long as you can. And usually it'll be a lot longer than you think because you've just charged your system. And you can hold your breath sometimes for like 2 or 3 minutes even. And then when you have to breathe, when the pressure becomes too much and you really need to breathe, then you're going to pull in a deep, strong breath, and you're going to pull up from your root. This is your perineum, which is, I'm not going to describe it here. It's down in the bottom, it's near your butthole. And you're going to pull up, you're going to squeeze that muscle, that perineum. You're going to squeeze the perineum, squeeze the lower abs, and pull all the energy up your spine into the top of your head. And you can squeeze there for a good 10 or 15 seconds, just feeling a river of light going up your spine into the crown of your head. and just hold that for 10 or 15 seconds. That's one round. Now, I will give you a warning. If you squeeze too hard on the first round, you might give yourself a headache. So you want to squeeze kind of gentle the first time. But as you go through round after round, you can squeeze harder and harder and harder until eventually you can squeeze as hard as you can. And when you squeeze those muscles as hard as you can and pull all that cerebrospinal fluid up into your brain, it'll like activate DMT in your pineal gland, and you'll see lights and colors and hear sounds, and it's amazing. But go slow, right? Don't just do it all at once, because you can give yourself a headache. But if you do give yourself a headache doing this, I have found that it's very easy to get rid of that headache by doing just one more round, and it goes away pretty fast. All right, that's the basics of Wim Hof. It definitely works better on an empty stomach. And how many rounds do you do? It takes a few minutes to do a round. I do, sometimes, it depends how much time you have. Sometimes I'll do it when I'm like, in the car, just waiting in a parking lot or something. I'll do like a round or two. And sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll do it laying in my bed. And I'll do 10 rounds, 12 rounds, 15 rounds. Like, I'll really go for it. And each round, it gets more and more powerful. And you'll start to feel very strong things in your body. And you just have to be with them. And the more you can be with them, the more powerful it'll be and the more transformative it'll be. So Wim Hof is really helpful for not having migraines onset, for not having them come on. It can help once they've already started, but I think it doesn't really matter what I think. But I like to use them before a migraine starts, or if I feel it's starting to come on. And I might do like a bunch of rounds and then do a bunch of rounds later. It doesn't matter. Definitely, the more you do, the better it'll be for you. I kind of think of it sometimes when you're trying to not have a headache come on, it's like you're lost in the woods and you're in a thicket, right? You're in a thicket. And somewhere on the other side of this thicket is the ocean. And you're just pushing through all of these thick branches and thorns, and you're just pushing. You can't see where you're going. You're stuck in the thicket. But all of a sudden, if you keep doing the breathing exercises, all of a sudden you're going to step out of the thicket and you're going to fall into the water. And then you can just float, and it's going to feel good. It's warm, it's bliss. And that bliss is waiting for you on the other side of these breathing exercises if you keep going. All right, so sometimes we can't do the Wim Hof method for various reasons. Maybe you're driving. Maybe you're at dinner and you're talking to people. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're with your kids and they need attention. And you just don't always have the ability to do it. There's other ones, right? So when I can't do it, then I just go into slow, but I know a headache might come on, then I go into really slow breathing. I mean, the slowest, deepest possible breathing. The ancient yogis, they do like the 1 minute breath. You can definitely do a 1 minute breath. It might take you some practice, but you can do it. So that would just be 15-second inhale, 15-second hold, 15-second exhale, 15-second hold. 1 minute breath. The 1 minute breath is so powerful. If you do 3 breaths like that in a row, you'll feel different. You'll enter a meditative state. And sometimes, you can't focus that much because of the situation you're in. So then you just go as long as you can. I don't even count. I just know that I'm like, when I'm inhaling, my diaphragm is expanding, my belly is expanding. And when I exhale, I'm going all the way out. Slowest, deepest breath possible, right? Slowest, deepest breath possible. And this is, it sounds so simple, and it works. Sometimes you have to keep it up for a while. But as long as you're breathing like that, whatever state you're at where the headache was about to come on, it's not going to progress. It just can't in that kind of calm environment, oxygen-rich environment. So super, super deep, but slow, and then the hold, and then very long exhale, and then the hold. And those spaces where you're not breathing are very important. I think those are the most important spaces. All right, another breath is the alternate nostril breath. And this is a great technique. So you're going to, I use my thumb and my finger, right? And so it'll be like inhale. Wait, I messed up, sorry. So what you're going to do, is you're going to switch the nostrils, right? So if I exhale off one side, so you start, I think it makes sense in my brain when I start with the exhale. So I'm going to exhale off one side, inhale off that same side, then I'm going to switch sides, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And what you're doing when you do this is you do it really slow. You do it so slow that when you breathe out, you go as long as you can. And you have that pause at the end of the exhale as long as you can, but you don't push it so far that it compromises the integrity of the next inhalation. And you inhale as deep as you can, and you hold it, but not long enough to compromise the integrity of the next exhalation. Really, it's really simple, but really effective. And the inhale, the alternate nostril breathing is amazing. It's really amazing. It is one of the most powerful calming breaths I know of, and a couple minutes of it will change the way you feel. All right, there's another one. It's multiple inhale, multiple exhale. This one's great if you're just like walking around, if you're driving. So it's just, you can do as many as you want. Sometimes I do 4, sometimes I do 8, sometimes I do 10. So it's just like, so inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 sharp, quick inhales, 4 sharp, quick exhales. You can make that 8 sharp inhales, 8 sharp exhales. And doing that for a few minutes can also really help. All right, now, those are just some of the basic breathing exercises. There's so many more. If you start looking at breath work, it's a rabbit hole, and people really study this stuff. And there's so many amazing breathing techniques, and they all help with headaches. A lot. I'm telling you, 5 years. I've not had a migraine in 5 years, and I had them for 20. All right, now, the breathing is only part of it, I think. You can probably get away with just the breathing, but if you really are suffering and you really want to transform things, then you got to get in that cold water. Cold water is the medicine. It's the deepest medicine I can imagine, and you got to combine it with the breathing. You can't just jump in the cold water without preparing yourself, because you'll hurt yourself. It's too powerful. You have to be ready to receive that power. It's like you can't just plug, I don't know how about electricity works, but you know what I mean. You can't just put too much juice in the system all of a sudden. You got to prep the ground, right? You got to lay the foundation to receive all this energy. And with cold water, you're receiving a lot of energy. So a lot of people talk about like plunging into cold lakes and stuff. That's awesome. But a lot of people don't have access to that. Many people just don't live in an area where they can do that, especially on a daily basis. So I'm really, I think it's great if you want to do cold lakes, cold rivers, ponds. Awesome. It's amazing. But before you jump in the water, prep yourself. Do a bunch of Wim Hof rounds. Do a bunch of really deep breathing. Get yourself psyched up. Get yourself warm. Do a bunch of push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever you got to do. Don't just jump in the cold water without preparing yourself. Get yourself psyched up mentally, emotionally, physically. Get the system charged. Now, the cold water on a daily basis, if you don't have access to something like that, and this will change everything. If you have a headache coming on, or a headache is full blown, this is the most powerful thing you can do, is get in the cold water. And a shower is great. A shower is amazing, but I don't think I do it the way a lot of people do. What I do with my cold showers is I start hot. I mean, I get it so freaking hot. I'm steaming myself. I get it so I can barely handle it. I get it all over the back of my neck, my top of my head, my chest, my private parts, everywhere. I really get that steam going and just get all the blood to the surface. I get it so it's so hot, right? And so it's feeling really relaxed and really good. And once I'm just like, all right, I've been in here a while, I'm feeling pretty hot, pretty relaxed. I'm almost like sweating a little. And then I do some breathing. You got to be careful because you can pass out with breathing techniques, especially if you're in a hot, relaxing shower and it's floor slippery and stuff. You got to be careful, right? So don't push it too far. Don't kill yourself. You don't want a really bad headache, right? Where you crack your head. So you do got to be careful. But generally what I do is I just do like 10 or 15 or maybe 30 Wim Hof breaths, depending on how I feel. And I be careful. I mean, sometimes I hold on to the wall while I'm doing it. I don't want anybody to listen to this and then fall in the shower and hit their head. You don't have to do Wim Hof breathing in the shower. But what is a good idea is once you're nice, hot, and relaxed, is do some deep breathing and then flip the temperature. Put it to go from all the way hot to all the way cold. And when you do, take a real big deep breath. As deep as you can. Pull it up to the top of your head and stick the top of your head right in that cold water. And oh my God, let it run all over the top of your head. Get it on the back of your neck. Get it on your face. Get it on your chest. In your armpits. Turn around. Let that water run down your spine. Open up your butt cheeks. Open up your legs. Get it everywhere. Just splash that water on your face. First time you do it, who knows? The more you do it, the easier it gets until I can't even finish a shower now without doing cold water. I don't even want to. I don't even feel refreshed if I don't. Cold water is magic. It's the medicine. Nothing can transform headaches like combining breathing and cold water. Nobody's going to tell you this who works for a pharmaceutical company or who wears a white coat because they can't sell you breathing and cold water. They're free. These are the keys. This is how I was able to transform my life. This is how I no longer suffer from migraines. And I really believe they are the most powerful things you can use. Cold water, breathing, your life can change. I'm sure of it. Sometimes you got to stick with it. Sometimes it's harder than it seems like it should be. But just keep going. It's the thicket. You're in the thicket sometimes and you just have to keep pushing. But somewhere is the edge of the thicket, and there's a beach and an ocean. It's there, and you will find it if you keep going. There's been times I had to do 12 or 15 Wim Hof rounds. Each round takes minutes, you know? My whole body's like buzzing. I feel like I'm going to explode. Lights are going off, colors, and all of a sudden, everything feels fine. Not just fine. I mean, ecstatic bliss. And you can feel good. You can transform this. I don't think any of us are here to be punished. Alright. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps as many people as possible. Take care.